Since we're creating a server-side rendered app, we will need to handle routing. And what I wanted to do, I want to make this app server-side rendered. So when click a page, I don't want to refetch another HTML page. I only want to update the content inside of which that it's changed. For example, I don't want to change the navbar or the footer of the web page, and only change the content inside of the body of the web page. And to do that, we're going to use Alpine.js. First, we're going to delete this dummy text that we created for testing. So we're going to give our body tag xData, and we're going to go ahead and create a few variables. So this xData, you can think about it as like an object of JavaScript. So you create it with curly brackets, and then you can define variables, functions that you could use in the inside of this component. So for example, we will create a variable called loading, and we will set that loading to be false. This variable would indicate if we are loading a page. So we could show, for example, a load text or a loading state. Next, we need a variable that will hold our content of the web page itself, and we call that, for example, content. And this content would be an empty string in the beginning. Then we can have a variable that will actually hold the route of our web page. So the route that we're going to fetch content from, and this also could be useful to actually update our navigation bar with the route that we're getting. And for example, we're going to set it first to be empty. Then we're going to create a function that will load our content. It will be async, so we're going to create it with the keyword of async. Keep in mind, this is JS syntax. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, this would be easy. Load content. This function would probably take a route to load content from, and it would send a request to our server to the endpoint of this route with a special header. Then we can then from that header determine that this request is coming from inside of our application, so we can only render a part of the application and not the whole web page with all these tags. So we're going to create a try except block, or in JavaScript is actually try catch. We're going to catch any error, and then we're going to create a finally step to stop loading. So finally would be this dot loading to be false. And we're obviously going to set the loading to be true here. So this dot loading, and this keyword in JavaScript is used to have like a context of class. So if you thinking about this as like a class of JavaScript, this keyword meaning we will use the variable inside of this class. So it's defined here. Now we're setting this dot loading to be true, meaning this variable would be true whenever we load content. Then we're going to create our response. So we create a const response, for example, we call it response, and it's going to come from the fetch API or the fetch keyword function to fetch data from our web page. And we're going to fetch from the route. Now we're going to give it as well some data, meaning we need to give it, for example, the method that we're going to use, and the method would be a get. Also, we need to give it headers, so we can define then from where this request is coming. And the headers could have the X, okay, we'll use the single quote. Give this header, for example, X requested from or with, and the value would be Alpine.js. So Alpine.js. We can also give it the accept rule or header. So we'll only accept text/HTML. After we sent our request, then we can check if the response is okay. So if it's not okay, so if the response.okay is not equal to true, indicating by this, we're going to return or throw a new error. And if it's true, so if the response is okay, so we actually have a response, then we could set our content to be the text of that response, and also set the route or update the route of our application. So first we're going to go ahead and select this dot content, and we're going to make it equal to await response dot text. Didn't make this as a wait, so didn't call this with await. So we need to do that because it's an async function. This is the use of it. We use the keyword await to await for this call. After that is done, we're going to call this dot route and update it with the route value that we got for this function. After we've done with that, we can also update the actual route inside the URL, inside the tab here. We're going to do that using the window API. So window.history.push state. So we're going to push a new state. We're going to give no data for that state, no name, but we're going to give it the route. The route would be updated here. And if any error is caught in this process, we would for now console.log that error. And to request immediately after the load of the page, we would use another Alpine.js attribute called xInit, and we could use it simply by just typing xInit, and then we call the function from here, so load content. For this function to work properly, we need to give it a route as well, so we're going to give the route of the index, or we can give it the route of the variable route, meaning it would choose this variable route. This is useful if you want to persist this route in the local storage, so then when the user is refreshing the page but he already visited that page, it will show the route that he was already on. We're going to save this content, and now we want to create our homepage. To do that, we go back to our pages. Inside the views and pages and homepage.temple, we create our homepage. To do that, of course, we will create a package pages, so we'll define this package pages, and then we create a temple component called homepage. For now, we're going to make a simple div that has a simple h1 tag with maybe homepage as text. We save that, and then we need to update our main.go to handle the routing of this homepage. Now, to do that, there is multiple methods to do that, and one way I would do it is I will give the basic route an argument called route, obviously, and this is a string. So whenever we call the base layout, we give it a route, and then this route would be implemented here. And to do that, we're obviously going to use fmt sprintf from Go. So what we're trying to do actually is to adjust this tag to have the variable route. And to do that, we use curly brackets. This is a temple syntax, of course, and we use fmt.sprintf. And fmt.sprintf won't allow the double-quoted string to be multi-line, so we're going to use this backtick to create a multi-line string. We obviously need to edit this as well, so we edit this here. We'll give it the function braces and then the curly braces. Now here, fmt is not imported, so we need to import it just like that. After we imported fmt, we can now change this route variable to be whatever string that we have here. And to do that, we just give it simply the percentage sign with s. We're going to use the variable here, route. And so now, whenever we call the base layout, we should give it a string, which is the route that this base layout would render. And it will render this HTML head with the body, and then the body would load the route, the actual content of that route. So now we need to update our handler. So to do that, we go to handler. Here now we want to check if the request is made via Alpine.js. So we need to only give the actual content. And if not, then we want to use the base layout and give it the route to render the homepage or the page that is requested. And to do that, we want to create a Boolean variable that will check if the header is there. So for example, we call it isAlpine, and this will come from the c.request.header, and we're going to get a value from the header. This value would be the same header that we set inside our front end, so x requested with, and we want to make sure if it's equals to Alpine.js. So this variable, we need this variable to make sure that the request is coming from Alpine.js. Now, just to make sure, we go back to our basic layout, make sure that we have the same header and the same header value. Then we need to actually get the route that this function would render. We will get it from the path of the request. So whatever path of the request would be our route. So we can just simply call c.path. Now that we have the Alpine Boolean and the route, so if it's not isAlpine, so that if the request is not from Alpine.js, we won't directly call that component or directly render the component. What we do is to actually return the layouts dot base layout with the route. So we give it the route that we got from the path, and then we render this component. So simply just give it the request .context, and we give it the response writer. So if the request is coming from Alpine.js, it would automatically render this HTML. If it's not, it would use the base layout. So we can handle both states if the person already requested from the URL or if it's from the inside of the application. Now going back to our main.go, we need to handle the base layout here. So we need to edit this now to render our homepage. And to do that, we're going to return handlers.render, and then we're going to give it this context, and then we give it the status okay. Then we give it the homepage, pages.homepage. We don't need the layouts here anymore. So we're going to save. We're going to make sure that everything is working. So generate again. And now whenever we refresh the page, we can see that nothing, because I just didn't implement the content. We didn't render the content. So now we have the content as inside the variable. So to render the content of our application, or the content of the request, and then inside the main tag, we will use the X HTML, meaning we will replace the inside of this main tag with the HTML coming from this variable, which is content. Now, whenever we save and refresh our page, we can see that the word homepage is there. Okay, now it's successfully rendering our homepage from Alpine.js. Now we can take this a step further and create actually a nav for our application. For example, create a nav tag here. This nav tag will probably create it as a separate component. So to do that, we go ahead, go back to the components directory, and then here in the nav bar, we create our nav bar. So first we're going to give it the package name of components, and then we create temple nav bar. This would be the navigation bar of our application. And the navigation bar would be a simple nav tag with simple UL and some list items. Those are gonna hold a tag, and inside this a tag we would use this, but we would say add click. So this is another Alpine.js keyword or attribute or binder that will bind the click event via a function call. Whenever this tag is clicked, we're going to use the function load content, which is predefined in the parent component of this nav bar, which would be the body component. And then we would call the actual route of this tag. So the home page, for example, here, and we can call this home. We'll make another route, for example, and call this about. We don't need an about, actually. We need a dashboard, so we're going to do that. In our application, we will use dashboard. And maybe we can create a sign up or a login. So to see or to actually implement this loading, we need to create the page of dashboard. To do that, we go back to pages. Right here, we're going to create another page. We call it, for example, dashboard.temple. Package pages, temple dashboard page. And then we do this, curly brackets. Here, we're just simply rendering a div. Inside of it, we would have an h1 tag, would have this text as the dashboard page. Now we go back to our application, main.go, and we have another route to maintain. So we create another route inside the get router and call this, for example, dashboard. This should be also rendering the dashboard. So return handler.render c http OK, and then we give it the pages.dashboard. Now the dashboard is not available yet because it's not yet created. So we can remove this for now, go back to this, and we rerun our application to create our page, our dashboard page. We go back to our application now, and we can see that dashboard available. After we hit save and we go back to our dashboard, for example, click save here to update our page. And now we can see that we have a nav bar. We should have a nav bar, but we didn't implement the nav bar yet. So we go back to our basic layout. In here, we will call the actual or use our nav bar here inside the body of our web page. And to do that, we just call it using temple syntax, which using the @ we can call another component and render it inside. So we do that by calling the components.navbar. After that, we save and hit a refresh button again. We can see now we have a nav, and this nav, when we click dashboard, we will render the dashboard page. When we click home, we will render the home page without reloading the whole thing. But then when we could get the dashboard, for example, from the actual URL. So right there, we could also load it from there, or we could load it via the navbar. And also you can see that the navbar also updates the URL.